Hey everybody, this is Presto,
And this is Corporal Nosage.
and you are listening to episode 20 of the Nintendads podcast. Corporal has a mustache because
I'm
there's
in
all
character.
sorts of new things. On today's episode, we're talking about all the new games and some old games that are old to the world but new to the Nintendo Switch, but all the new games that are coming to the Switch either this week or that have been announced for the near future. There's a lot of exciting things on this list. My wallet is in the corner trembling in fear for all these purchases that I will make in the near future. But first, as always, we're going to just talk about what we're playing for a few minutes. Corporal, what are you... Shaving simulator? What are you playing on the Switch these days? Starting with what do you have open on your Switch?
Currently, this beautiful device has Plague Inc. running on it.
So not sanitary.
The virus all over the world. Just gonna destroy. I mean, try to protect humans and society.
Well, that's how you lose that game.
My primary list has just been Minecraft Dungeons. Obviously, the new update came out, so
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that. I'm not the biggest fan of the update.
Okay. All right, we'll have to talk some.
Did you get?
What have you been playing?
I've been playing.
I know what you've been playing.
First, I want to ask you. Did you get 3D All Stars or no?
No,
You did not get 3D All Stars.
I have reasons behind them, and they're salty reasons.
Okay, we can get into that a little later too. But yeah, I've pretty much been playing Spellbreak.
You're like addicted.
I am addicted. Spellbreak. I'm actually enjoying it more on the Switch. So I play it on Switch and PC. On PC, you just get housed by everybody because this game has been in alpha and then beta on PC. So the PC community is good, and it's mouse and keyboard, so they're like extra good.
Yep.
Switch is a way more forgiving experience. I heard they were adding gyro controls to it, which will make a big difference. But right now, I'm playing on Switch. I'm enjoying it. It has some things that definitely need to be ironed out. It's definitely not perfectly balanced, but it's getting there. It's getting there. I've also been playing.
Just announced in this past month. So I assume that there's a lot of things that need to get worked out.
It just came out. There's also another game that I've been playing that I don't want to mention yet, but it's a game that's on PC now that's releasing for the Switch in 2 days from this recording. So probably by the time this episode comes out, it will have entered the world in Switch.
Okay.
Okay, well, that's the end of the intro, so now we're going to actually get into the real segment of games.
The meat and potatoes.
The ham and cheese of this Nintendad sandwich.
Ew.
So, new games coming to the Switch that are actually not new at all. Go figure. No. That seems to be Nintendo's MO. I think the theme for Nintendo's release in 2020 is games you love coming to the Switch. I think in 2021 they're going to have some bigger releases because, in fact, one of the games on our list that you're going to talk about is going to be a new game. But this year, I think we're mostly going to be stuck to remakes and ports, which I'm kind of okay with.
Something that Xbox was doing with their Xbox Game Pass, where like they would bring back all. I see you.
Oh, I forgot this was video. I'm sorry.
They would bring back all the older games that were classics to the past, and they'd be like, "Oh, they are, beloved games. We're filling up our game library with all these great games," but like nothing was really new. They were all either Xbox originals or Xbox 360s that are being ported forward.
But
I feel like Nintendo is doing the same thing.
A little bit of Xbox news that we have to mention because it's the craziest thing that's happened in a long time. Xbox bought Bethesda today.
Yeah, today is the day that Xbox bought or announced that they bought
when
Bethesda.
you're listening to this a couple days from now after we edit and release it, if you haven't heard the news yet,
You're living under a rock. This, because I have watched a lot of other major gaming networks like IGN and what their take is on these types of things, and this is like the literally biggest gaming news to release in a long time.
It's a big deal, especially because it's really gonna like hamstring Sony's release, because now all the games that you thought you were going to be able to eventually play on PlayStation 5, yoink.
There's a lot of talk about whether or not they're going to be Xbox exclusive, but if from a business standpoint, Xbox could still release them to PlayStation and they're still going to make money.
That's true.
But
back on topic.
Back on topic.
So first game that I'm super excited, that was supposed to come out summer of 2020, which it's still technically summer. It's not summer. To me, summer is not going to end until this game comes out, and that is Rivals of Aether. Oh boy.
I know absolutely nothing about this game.
So
nothing at all.
This game is a 2D platform fighter. Kind of has a retro pixel art aesthetic, and it is the closest game to Super Smash Brothers Melee that we will ever play on the Switch. It's got wave dashing, it's got all these mechanics that were inspired by. This whole game is very much like a love letter to the Super Smash Brothers Melee community. Without Melee, there would be no Rivals of Aether. And it's so fun to play. It's crisp. There's got a lot of mechanics that are really interesting. It's got a bunch of cool characters. It's got a lot of interesting third-party characters. Shovel Knight's in it. Ori from Ori and the Will of the Wisps, the new game, and the Blind Forest is in there. There's a bunch of third-party characters, but
I feel like we must have talked about this before, and I must have looked it up because of that conversation, because this looks familiar to me now.
We have, yeah. We've talked about it on the show before, but it's finally coming out for Switch. I'm very excited. I've had it on PC for a while. My one complaint about this game, which will hopefully get fixed on the Switch or be a little less of a problem on the Switch, is if you are a new player coming to this game, you get to lose. That's it. If you play this game online and you're a new player, you are going to get your teeth kicked in.
So in other words, it's just like if you are a Super Smash player and you decide to pull up the emulator of Super Smash Melee.
Yes. This very much suffers from the same, and this is probably going to be more forgiving when it comes out on the Switch, because there's going to be lots of new players playing on the Switch. And it's not cross-play. So PC players will be playing PC players, Switch players will be playing Switch players, which is why I'm probably going to buy it again, just to be able to play on the Switch with a different player pool. There is ranked mode. I haven't messed around too much, because then it just keeps track of how much I'm losing, and that's depressing to see. But from a game standpoint, it's so fun. It's so great. That is coming out September 23rd, and it's the definitive edition, so it's gonna have all the character DLC, all the cool skins and levels and stuff. And yeah, if you like 2D platform fighting games like Smash, Brawlhalla, anything like that, definitely check it out. So good. The second game that's coming out the very next day this week, September 24th, well, technically not coming out for Switch, because you can already play it on the Switch, but Rocket League.
It's coming out free to play on the Switch.
So it's going free to play on the Switch. It's going free to play everywhere. That's the first thing. It's going free to play. So if you ever wanted to try Rocket League, but didn't want to spend $20 on Rocket Car Soccer because you didn't know if you were going to like it, now you can play it for free. It's also cross-platform and cross-progression across everything. So I own it on Switch. So all the things that I will collect on Switch. And if you've purchased a copy, you're going to get all the DLC that they've released so far for free as like a free upgrade for owning it before it releases, before it goes free to play. So I'm going to have all my collectibles that I've done. all the new ones, and I'm going to be able to play on PC, on Switch, and all my stuff is going to carry over. And I am going to suck you into this.
Everybody I know has played this game, and I have avoided playing this game up to this point. So I guess I might as well just give in.
It's like, I'm terrible at it. Like, I'm really bad. It's 3v3. It requires teamwork. I suck. But it's fun because you have a race car. Even if you only hit the ball one time, that one time that you hit the ball, you're like, oh! And it's like, no, that was our goal.
The way you did that and the way it came through in my mic, there was a slight pitch difference, and I swear to God, you are about to sing the Numa Numa song.
No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that today. So, Rivals of Aether 23rd, Rocket League, free-to-play, cross everything, the 24th. But now let's talk fresh.
The only thing that matters. It's the only news that matters.
Is it?
Everything else that has been announced this past week is minuscule when it comes compared to Hyrule Warriors.
You're going on the record. You just said that Hyrule Warriors is bigger than Xbox for acquiring Bethesda. We all saw it, right? You guys saw it. I saw it. Okay, continue. Go on, carry on.
I'm an Xbox fan. I might have to call an audible there. But anyway, Hyrule Warriors, Calamity again, I think is the most beautiful way of paying homage to Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild, I think there's no argue, is probably one of the best Zelda games, one of the best Zelda games that has ever been made. And there is so many beautiful lore that has been propped up by Breath of the Wild, and there's a lot of things that people want to know more about, and Backflash and Ancient Memory Recall is only able to provide so much. Hyrule Warriors is going to be a prequel to Breath of the Wild, and you get to play as some of the original characters in the war against Calamity Ganon and the champions prior to the events of Breath of the Wild. And I think this is just a phenomenal way of taking a different type of game and providing a main storyline to a AAA title.
Okay, so I'm going to be playing the noob for once, and so I've never played... This is a Zelda game without being a Zelda game. So this is technically a Warriors game, meaning Dynasty Warriors, which is like a long franchise, but it's definitely not what people would expect a traditional... It's not a traditional Zelda game, and I've never played it. So you explain what this game is actually going to play like.
So the Hyrule Warriors game that came out originally on the Wii U, it's a hack and slash game. There's a storyline to it, and in the original one on the Wii U, it takes the traditional, Zelda theme story where Link is just some random soldier in the cog of the machine, and he's training, and he's and he becomes the greatest warrior within the group. And Zelda, the princess, is up in the tower, learning about the death and the impending doom that's coming. And once it arrives, obviously Link rises up and helps to defend the castle, and he becomes the champion and the hero. And as the storyline progresses, you get to play as the different characters in the Zelda franchise. You get to play as Zelda. You get to play as Mipha and like all these other different characters. That's the unique part about Hyrule Warriors Calamity Ganon, is that you will be able to play Age of Calamity, whatever. Calamity Ganon is where I'm going with it. That you will be able to play as Falco. You will be able to play as
Fish Lady,
Fish Mipha. Mipha's great.
Rocky Boy,
Rockman, Fish Girl, and Bird Boy is the names that we're gonna go with.
So this is like very like you fight mobs and mobs of enemies, and it's just like ridiculous over the top attacks. Like definitely very different from the Zelda experience.
Oh yeah, there's hundreds of bad guys that come rushing into you at once, and as you destroy some with your sword, your special attack meter will build up, and then you can do different button combinations for different types of attacks, or use your special attack meter, or certain weapons can be equipped. So you'll have like your bow, or you can throw bombs as Link. But in this one, and the new one that's coming out, you get to obviously play as Urbosa, so you can probably use your lightning attack. You get to play as Darok, so you get super strong and call down a rain of rocks to destroy people. Rivali, that's what I call him, is Rivali. I don't know if that's yeah, Ravioli. I don't know if that's how you're supposed to say his name, but he has obviously his wing attack and everything else. And then there's Mifa, which I'm not quite sure because she's a healer. So maybe her attack will be water-based. I don't know. But I think that it's an extremely cool way of trying to show you the story through the eyes of the champions prior to the events, which is 100 years prior to the events seen in Breath of the Wild.
Now, I've seen 2 pieces of critical feedback for this game. A lot of people are excited. But there's 2 pieces of big critical feedback. A, that they teased Breath of the Wild 2 and then said absolutely nothing about it. And now they're releasing this whole other game to kind of like fill in the gap. So people are like, I wanted this, but you're giving me this. And I'll take this, but I want this.
So there's a lot that's coming along with that, because I think, and I've heard some rumors, that Breath of the Wild 2 will be just as immersive and just as massive as original Breath of the Wild. And they're talking about building it within the same Breath of the Wild engine, which means I assume that they'll use the same map design, but they'll do something different. And the rumor that everybody keeps talking about is like Skyward Sword or Wind Waker, where like the entire Breath of the Wild map will be there, but it's underwater. And like maybe there's little islands and stuff. Like I don't know.
You're triggering flashbacks of the Ocarina of Time water temple.
Water temple.
Anytime. Zelda and water don't mix, like cats and water don't mix. They cause the equal amount of pain.
Tell that to his love interest of Mifa.
That's the exception. That's why they make the water dungeons so hard.
Well, I got a joke for that, but I'll leave that alone.
The other piece of feedback is that Zelda fans are very particular when it comes to their game and how their stories are told, and there's a bunch of people that are not super thrilled, that don't think the Warriors style game is going to be a good way to tell Zelda lore, which I can understand, because a lot of the Zelda lore, what makes Zelda games so good is there's little things, there's little characters, there's little, like, you know, sound design that plays throughout, there's little things that you experience through the slower pace of a Zelda game that lets you digest the story over time, versus Dynasty Warriors. You're probably not going to be experiencing much of the lore in the actual gameplay like you would with Zelda, and people worry it's going to be cutscene with all the story, and then gameplay, cutscene with all the story, and Zelda fans don't want to experience their lore through just cutscenes, because that's not how you experience Zelda lore. You experience it by experiencing it, not watching it.
So there's 2 parts to this. Hyrule Warriors and the Warriors franchise, or Dynasty Warriors games, never are really large on lore. It's all about action, fast-paced battles.
Exactly.
So I fully understand that fear. But my argument against it, so there's always a but, is in Hyrule Warriors, like, for example, one of the beginning scenes, you're playing as Link and you're fighting, and while you're fighting, the little fairy pops up and it's like, hey, listen, not really hey listen, but like it's a little text bubble, and she's like, we should be doing this, go here to help Zelda. And then like you get there, and then you can hear Zelda's voice, and Zelda's like, we need to fight to keep them back, you need to go to this location and stop these guys over here. So like it's not all cutscenes. Like there's some interaction in game.
Yeah.
I agree it's not the same, but like I think the fears are a little. Yet again, I'm biased because I enjoyed the game. I went out of my way and I bought it on the Wii U, and when I found out that it came to the Switch, I went out of my way and I bought it on the Switch.
You double dipped it.
Yes, so I'm probably the wrong person to give opinions on this game, but I think I'm so excited.
So I think people will have their worries, but so this is 100 years before Breath of the Wild, and we all know if you've played Breath of the Wild, spoilers, but like it's been out forever, so whatever. Breath of the Wild happens 100 years after this game, and those 100 years, Link gets defeated, Zelda gets locked up, Link sleeps for 100 years. So we already know
how the game's going to end.
Not exactly, but you know the most powerful part of the storytelling is, you know, at the end of Hyrule Warriors, the new Hyrule Warriors game, the last level is going to be you desperately trying to defend Zelda, and at the start of the level, you're just going to be like, oh, cool, so the goal of this level is to die. Like, you know the last level is just going to be an impossible task. And that, I think, will be a powerful enough storytelling device to make up for maybe the shortcomings that the game. But, like, you're going to cry. I'm calling it.
So I cried when Mipha died. Like, don't even.
Mipha dies?
In Breath of the Wild.
I didn't play through.
Oh, well, that's your fault. Anyway.
Does Zelda kill her?
No. You're taking my man! I thought you were going to go in a different direction, and I was going to get philosophical on you, but you didn't. I'll say it anyway, just for the sake of saying it.
Still get philosophical. It's never stopped you before.
It's not how the story ends, but it's the journey and how you get there. And I think that this is going to show aspects that we've never seen before, and it's going to show how the champions come together and how they form. Because in the back and forth through the flashbacks, you can see aspects of them not truly being a team, not truly working together.
Yeah.
Particularly Ravioli not really wanting to be a team player and them being united.
It's always the Falco bird ass looking characters that are like, huh, personally, I prefer the air. I don't really do Fox, but yeah.
So I think this will give us a visual into how the team gets formed and comes together and becomes one. And I'm excited for that.
I'm excited for that too, if they can pull the story and the gameplay and strike the right balance. Or I'll just watch you stream it.
I'll stream it, I'm sure. Because I'll be excited. And I'll be like crying on TV, live stream.
To the world.
Yep. Shedding my tears.
So that was revealed. Now we're going to talk.
I'm still curious. Hold on. I'm still curious about Breath of the Wild 2. Like, I assume like this is definitely going to come out before Breath of the Wild 2 comes out. But like, are they going to tease something for Breath of the Wild 2 with the release of this game? Like, when is this? Like, that's what I'm excited to find out. Like, what are the implications of where this is going?
There has been, I don't think this is going to give us any insight into Breath of the Wild 2. I just think maybe there will be things in this game that will appear in Breath of the Wild 2. So when you're playing Breath of the Wild 2, you're like, oh yeah, I saw that hat over there. Like, it's in the Hyrule Warriors game.
The mask or something? Yeah,
some like subtle things, but as far as like being like updated or like giving us any real, I think Breath of the Wild 2 is gonna, I think it's gonna come out in 2021 because I think Bloomberg, there was some thing that Nintendo, the CEO or the president of Nintendo talked to with Bloomberg, and they're like, Nintendo realizes that the Xbox 5 and the Xbox 5, PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X and S and QMNOZ all these new consoles are coming out. Nintendo is on a different development and console launch cycle. And they need
so
to
like
drop,
a year behind.
Yeah, they need to drop some bombs, especially after this year. I mean, this year was pretty much like 2020 Animal Crossing. And Animal Crossing made more money and did better than like all the games that came out last year anyway. So whatever, but 2021 they're gonna need to really take the gloves off and step up to compete with the next gen consoles. And Breath of the Wild 2, like,
so
that has to be it.
The announcement of Bethesda being purchased by Microsoft today brought up a very interesting conversation, and it was about, well, what's Nintendo and PlayStation going to do next? And
PlayStation's going to cry in the corner.
Everybody was like, we're not worried about PlayStation, or we're not worried about Nintendo, and there's a reason why they're not worried about Nintendo. Nintendo can just license out their mainline franchise, like Zelda, to a third-party developer to create a spin-off game, and they'll still make huge bank.
Yeah.
Like, they've got so many original IPs that they can just license off.
And we've had this conversation before. It's like nobody plays Nintendo. Nobody gets a Nintendo console for third-party releases. People get Nintendo consoles for Nintendo games, for Mario, for Zelda, for Metroid, someday, for Smash Brothers, like for Splatoon 2, for Pokemon, like, so Xbox could have every exclusive in the world except Nintendo exclusives, and people still wouldn't care. PlayStation's the one that's going to be in trouble.
Yet again, the PlayStation franchise is going in a slightly different direction, whereas Xbox is going in a more games of a service or services.
Xbox go like this, PlayStation go like this.
So it's going to be interesting to see how all this shakes out. But I still think Nintendo, they've got a direction, whether or not we actually see the direction. But I think they have a direction.
Yeah. So some more news of upcoming games. Nintendo did a partner. I don't even know what these things are called anymore. A partner mini direct, a mini direct partner, a direct
that
mini
they would
partner.
Get their things together.
It's a little mini, but yeah, basically partnered developers that are coming out with games in a small little bite-sized package. But normally we don't go too much into detail of these, and normally we really haven't cared very much because they've been kind of not very interesting. But Monster Hunter Rise. This is a big deal. Because for a huge beloved franchise like Monster Hunter to announce a new game, 2 new games technically, but we'll get to the second one in a minute. A brand new game that's being developed. Now, they didn't say it was being developed exclusively for Switch, but we know that it's going to release on Switch. So I predict it will release on Switch. It'll be a timed exclusive. It'll come out on other platforms later on. But Monster Hunter Rise is basically a big open world Monster Hunter game, building upon a lot of what made Monster Hunter Worlds successful, which did not have a release on Switch. Worlds did not have a release on Switch. It was only Generations. And it looks dope. It looks really good.
I'll agree that it looks like it could be fun.
Looks like it could be fun. I've never even... So I played the demo for Monster Hunter Generations, and I was kind of lukewarm about it, because it's kind of like more traditional, old-style Monster Hunter. Worlds apparently had a lot of updates, made it a lot more new player-friendly, made it a little bit faster and more interesting. And Rise looks like it's going to be building on that. We have a grappling hook. You're going to have some pets and stuff to ride on to make traversing the open world easier. It looks very fun. I am most certainly going to get it.
I'll say, truthfully, there's a lot of other games that are going to be coming out. We already know I'm an Xbox fanboy, so I'm going to be getting the new Xbox.
This one's far out. This one's not coming out till March of 2021. So
who knows? Maybe Halo Infinite will be dropping by then.
You have time to play all of your Bethesda exclusives on Xbox. The other thing that was announced kind of in tandem to this was Monster Hunter Stories 2. I didn't know there was Monster Hunter Stories 1. It looks like a cutesy like Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, like kind of like weird chibi kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm completely off base and people that love Monster Hunter Stories are gonna flame me on Twitter, but
I can't wait to watch that happen.
It looks just like a more story driven Monster Hunter thing, which I don't know if anybody plays Monster Hunter for the story. I think you play it for
the monsters,
for hunting monsters. Could it be? I don't know. I've never owned a Monster Hunter game. So another game that was announced and then like released like an hour after the direct is a game called Hades, which I'm actually mildly interested in. I might pick this one up. So this is an indie game. Well, I guess a partnered game. I still don't fully understand the difference between that. But it is a third-person roguelite. So basically, you fight across the levels, you get upgrades until you dead, and then once you dead, you start at the beginning. So it's a one life kind of deal, and it looks pretty interesting. The combat looks fun. It's based in like Greek mythology, so you got all the gods and stuff, which I know is a draw for you.
The game also has a really high Metascore rating, so like I'm kind of interested. Like it's net 91 right now, so like
it's on the front page of Steam too.
Yeah, so I'm interested.
I don't know if they did like a beta for this game, but I know somebody, Mooch. I think his name is Captain Mooch on Twitch. But shout out to Mooch. A college buddy of mine who I've seen stream this game before, and I saw it and I was like, oh, that's the game that Mooch plays, and then it was like releasing and I'm like,
well, the game is going to have cross save functionality with the PC version.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, so maybe the PC's version has been out and now they're releasing. I'm digging this cross progression.
Yeah,
as somebody who has a PC and a Switch, I'm really digging the cross progression stuff now.
Yeah, it's a narrative-driven roguelike rooted in Greek mythology. Like that little snippet by itself is like, yeah, I'm down.
Yeah. So that's out now. Ori from Ori and the Blind Forest.
Yep.
Has released a new
Which
game.
Was originally an Xbox One exclusive, if I'm not, or was it?
I think 360.
It was an end. It was the end of the 360 era.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
It's an older game. It's a Metroidvania type game.
But it's beloved. It really is.
Have you played it or no?
On the Xbox,
okay.
But not obviously what the Will of the Wisps.
So this is like the sequel, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, also released like 2 days after the direct, so it's out now.
But these games are beautiful. The art style and then is fabulous.
Ori is known, and fun fact, Ori is a playable character in Rivals of Aether. Bringing it back.
Coming together.
So another one that they announced is Disgaea. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, neither do I.
It's some kind of RPG. It's the 6th one in the series.
When you're
excited about it.
Yeah, when you've got 6 in the series, you're just making money.
There's also a fitness boxing rhythm game.
I played the beta of this game.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, because like we're all into like getting healthy and losing weight and getting muscular.
Punching through your flat screen TV.
I mean, I need my dad bod so I can do like half naked shots for our Instagram page that you won't let me do. So, but yeah,
people, if you want half naked shots of Corporal Nostage on Instagram, I guess let us know. Get in touch.
Yay! Fitness boxing. It was fun. It was okay. All right. It was definitely felt like it was in a beta. So like I wanted to see what more they could do to it. It had very Wii Fit vibes.
Which is a good thing, in my opinion.
Yeah. I feel like they could do better, but it is definitely in no way, shape, or form on the same level as Ring Fit. Like it's not that quality.
I would try this game if it was free.
Yeah.
Or I might. You said there's a demo, so I might try the demo.
There was a demo. I don't know if it still is a demo, but there was a demo. But
there's a demo. Yeah. I'll try the demo. Maybe I'll stream the demo.
Oh, that'd be fun. Yes.
Empire of Sin, some kind of mob game.
MOB.
Yeah, and then Sniper Elite 4 coming
Which,
to Switch.
If you know anything about the Sniper Elite games, like they are just stupid fun. The mechanics and the physics in these games are hilarious in itself. So, I'm if you don't have it on a regular base console, like Xbox, then you should pick it up for the Switch because it's fun just to have, is to sit back from an old late night working, grab a beer, and just blow somebody's head off.
Now, is this, I'm guessing, because it's a sniper game, it's going to involve the motion controls, right?
I would, because you could probably get some really cool precision shots doing the motion controls.
I want to get like the like NZAP attachment that has the Joy-Cons and be like old school, like reload, like that'd be pretty cool.
Yes,
I would be interested in that was a feature.
I would totally do that.
Like
that would.
They should release. I think we were talking about this the other day. They should release, like all the old school arcade shooters, like Time Crisis and Area 51 and the old Terminator game.
Duck Hunt.
Yeah. Like why can't?
Yes.
Like with the Joy-Cons and like some kind of like.
I'm all about it. I want to get some. I want to get some home shooters so I can literally be like jumping behind my couch.
I'll take that thing. I'll take my old NES shooter and just duct tape my Joy-Con
right to it.
Sold. So those are the games. There was a couple more in the partner direct, but
not worth mentioning.
You can go watch that if you really want to. If you really want to get into that. But before we close this one out, we're gonna loop back to what we were talking about. We were playing because we're not finished with new Minecraft Dungeons and Spellbreak. So Minecraft Dungeons, right? We got sucked into Minecraft Dungeons hard. Like we all got into it. We've put a lot of hours into this game.
Nick Yeti threw that suggestion out there, and we just
and then played with us like 1.5 times. Calling you out, Yeti. If you're watching this, text me and we'll play anytime. Let's go. But so I'm a little disappointed with this because, and I understand this is like the first big quality of life update. There was the jungle update, but this is the first one where they upgraded the town. They gave you new merchants. They gave you options for upgrading your gear.
Not a town, it's your camp. Come on
whatever. Now. And the merchants are okay. The merchants are interesting. The thing that excites me most about this, or did excite me most about this, are the daily quests, which are supposed to be like daily challenges.
Yeah, so a reason to jump in and to grind.
Yes. And some of them are very, very fun. They're challenging. They give you new twists. They make you think about different strategies that you have to take. But some of them suck. Some of them are bad. So basically what it is they'll give like 4 different conditions that will affect your mission. And like 50% of them are you have 1 life, which is not a particularly like fun and creative condition. It's just like, okay, we're just going to make it harder by only giving you 1 life to do this.
You should just be able to turn on insanity mode or something to do that.
So yeah, so automatically a lot of these is you have 1 life. So most recently I played a level where it was like the player does 50% less damage. Enemies have thorns. You have 1 life, and you have like ricochet or something like that, and then like half the mobs are creepers or something. So all that just sounds like, okay, it's going to be crazy. But then when you actually play, how it looks like is you run in, you try to fight enemies, and then you have to run away to heal, because every time you hurt an enemy, it hurts you back, and you can't kill it because you're doing less damage. So it just, a lot of these quests, just the conditions create time sucks, where instead of making it fun and interesting, it just becomes like, oh, I can beat this level, but it's going to take me 45 minutes because I hit something and then I have to run away, and then I have to hit something and I have to run away. And it just becomes more tedious than challenging, if you know what I mean.
So you need to have totems that are focused on healing or defense.
Yeah, but even then it's like you can't circumvent the damage. And it's, a lot of them are creepers, and if the creepers get you at the higher levels of play, you're insta dead. There's nothing you can do. You're instantly dead. And because you have reduced damage, you can't kill the creepers before they get to you. So you have to pew 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 them, run away.
Pew pew pew.
Pew pew pew. And it's just, the daily challenges have been disappointing because they're more frustrating and just take large sums of time and patience to do.
You need a chicken.
A chicken.
Pew pew pew.
Pew pew pew. Can you summon chickens?
Yeah, Jacob does it all the time.
Oh, I guess.
It's Little Red's favorite thing is to summon chickens, summon wolves, and summon llamas.
The bees. The bees
I heard
are pretty cool.
Yeah.
The bees actually got me killed in a daily challenge, because if all the enemies have thorns, so the bees swarm and attack the enemies, and all the damage that they're doing to the enemies, they're also doing to you.
Oh.
So it's like... So that's fun. The snow levels are kind of interesting. They have some different enemies and stuff, but I have the same problem with the snow levels that I do with the jungle levels, in that you have to block out like a part of your day to do them because they're just absurdly long.
Yeah, like I understand trying the like free DLC, or not free, but new big DLC. We put so much time into it. There's this huge chunk that we just gave you that you can now play. Thanks. I feel like my money was worth it. But you should have given me like 2, not 1 large one.
I'd rather have 5 short missions than 3 really long missions.
Yeah.
Especially because now the daily challenges, there's always 2 challenges on the mainland and 1 challenge in the DLC. So one of those daily challenges is one of those super long levels. And guess what? You only get 1 life most of the time. So if you're 45 minutes in and you die...
No thanks.
Yeah, so...
that's why I haven't played played any of the daily challenges.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be good because you can team up, so the 1 life thing becomes a little tougher, or a little easier pill to swallow, because if you die, you can get revived, and then you don't lose a life, technically. So, we'll have to try it. We'll have to stream it, maybe.
But Spellbreak, thoughts on Spellbreak?
Spellbreak, like I said, it's super fun on Switch. I've played a lot. I've won some rounds, believe it or not. They've got to fix the end circle. So it's a battle royale where the circle gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and then everybody's fighting in like a Pringles can. But there's a bunch of very specific items in this game. That there's a flight item that lets you just fly, and there's an item called Featherfall that lets you shoot up in the air and then you slowly go back to the ground. And every single game, the end part of the game is people who have the flight items flying all the way up as high as they can and raining down shots to people below them. And then you hover, 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 use your item again, and basically it becomes like the floor is lava. And if you're playing with a fire player, it's like, yeah, it kind of becomes lava. But it's basically who can touch the ground last. And all the interesting movement and elemental interactions and like outplays No, it's just like becomes like leapfrog, and it's just not. Even when you win, it's like every time I win in that situation, I'm like, I didn't earn that. I happened to fly higher than you, and then just hit all the buttons at once. So, and the devs have acknowledged this and mentioned that they're going to rework it, and they're not really sure how, because they don't want to tune the whole game's balance around such a small section that only a few people ever get to. But they do acknowledge that it like needs to be changed. All they do is make it, instead of a thing that you can go as high as you want, is a dome.
Yeah,
that's it. Or just lock it into a set thing so that there's still room to do horizontal and vertical movement. But other than that, the game's been really fun. The aim assist is a little much at times. It gives you a little too much ease of use.
Too much assist.
Yeah, a little too much assist. There needs to be more aim and less assist on the Switch and consoles. So that's what's new. That's what's coming, and that's like what's up. That's what's up.
That's what's up.
That's what's up. Oh, hello, Sir Corporal Nosage NPC. Can you please give me that side quest, John?
Question of the day. If you could wake up inside of a video game just for one day, which video game would you want to wake up into? Maybe give you that college try and give an ad and why.
I'm gonna have to think about this. You go first.
Really? So I really want to wake up just knowing that it's just for one day in a Fallout game. I love apocalyptic I love apocalyptic worlds, and I want to experience that.
That's a horrible, like,
just for one day.
Can you die in this one day?
My question doesn't specify, but we're going to go with no for my benefit.
Okay. Like, wouldn't you want to wake up in, like, Mario Kart and just race around all day and have fun?
Yeah, I mean, sure, that could be fun.
Need for
but
Speed,
like,
you get to speed around, run away from the cops.
I want to experience the horror and the drama and the shelters and the weird people and the ghouls and, like, the shooting. Like, I want to, like, really go out.
Grand
like,
Theft Auto.
Boom. Yes.
I would want to do... I think I would want to do some game that's either amazing, like extremely relaxing, like Animal Crossing, where it's just like, oh, yeah, vacation. Like, vacation. Tom Nook, you ain't getting paid today. I'm relaxing. Or something that has, like, really fun, like flight... Not Flight Simulator, because I can just go to the airport. Like, that's like a game you can actually visit for a day, and it's terrible. Yeah. I don't know, maybe like Pilot Wings or like Wave Race. Oh, Wave Race 64. Just crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Like that. Mario Kart might be fun. That's almost going to happen with the Mario Kart Live thing.
True.
It'd be cool to, like, also, like, be in, like, a Zelda game, provided you're not just, like, a random, like, person trying not to get your village burned down by Ganon, and, like, you're an actual Zelda character that had, like, Zelda things.
So, sitting here thinking about it and listening to you, I think it'd be kind of fun if you were able to play Splatoon. Wake up in a Splatoon map.
Yeah. No, actually, yeah. Splatoon would be, yeah. Splatoon
that would be a lot of fun.
You know what? You can get your fix Borderlands. That's a little less depressing than Fallout.
I mean, maybe.
A little comic relief in there. Actually, yeah, Splatoon would be good, provided I was in the game as a squid and not as a human, because all the humans in the Splatoon world are dead.
Yeah, I would definitely want to be a squid so I could, you know.
And my cat, is he still here? He could
No,
be
he
the,
left.
he could be the judge cat that like with the little flags. That's like blue team wins.
I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm a kid now. I'm a squid now. All right. Well, that's our episode. Do you have anything else that you want to say?
I
On your mind?
do have something else that's on my mind.
What is it?
You know how back in the old days people would get sick, they'd have like a basic cough, but then they'd just die, and then people would bury them in the ground, but they really weren't dead?
I guess.
That was a thing. Like, you get buried alive.
Oh, yeah.
You know how they figured it out? They listened for their coffin.
You really would enjoy a Fallout game. You really would. You sick mother. You really would.
Dark sense of humor.
All right, that's our show, everybody. If you've made it this far, good
Sorry.
on you, friend. You're great.
Yay!
We appreciate you.
Gonna brand you with a VIP stamp.
Yeah. Oh, maybe we will do something.
Maybe.
I don't know. But we are streaming occasionally if Corporal ever gets his capture card working.
It's up and running. I just work. You know.
Eventually, Corporal
and
will stream.
For all those who follow us, I'm in the process of like buying a house, so I won't be in this red cube anymore.
It's true.
And like there's boxes that are over here that you can't see. So like once I get settled in, we're gonna go ham.
Stream moving simulator. Yeah, we'll be streaming a lot more. We're streaming more and more a little bit.
That's a game. I think it's on the Switch. You get to play as movers.
Moving out. Yes.
Moving out.
Don't hire those guys. I've seen the gameplay. Don't.
I'm gonna download it now.
But yeah, we're streaming a little bit here and there on Facebook. So if you're watching this on Facebook, check it out. You'll see the replays of me failing at many games in our videos. And if you're listening to this, head over to facebook.com/the-Nintendads or look up the Nintendads on the Facebook gaming app.
Or Instagram, or
well, yeah, follow us on all the social
Twitter.
media. But if you want to see us streaming, Facebook is where we go do that streaming.
And yet again, muscular nosage. You know.
If you've made it this far in the episode, let us know if you want us to stream the boxing rhythm game, because I'm serious about that. That sounds fun.
The boxing game, just boom, boom, boom.
So I will break something. Like,
I'm all about it.
I was the person that they put the warning on the Wiimote straps for. Like, that's me. Like, I will let shit fly.
You are the safety warning reason.
Yes, I am the reason they have to put those warnings.
Clear your space. Make sure there's nothing you're gonna hit.
Just my cat. All right, everybody. Have a lovely day. We'll see you on the next one.
Peace.